Hello everyone, Russell Wright from networkempire.com, and I'm here with my friend Brian McFarland, who has attended our 8-day Network Empire certification event. We've had the great fortune of having Matt DeCruz and Sue Bell and myself come together in one place, which is very rare because Matt had to come all the way from Europe, and this was an amazing event for me, actually. And I want to just find out what your experience is.
I have to admit, it's been really surreal.
Really?
Because I'm looking at the big picture now, and I've got clear guideposts to follow now. Mm-hmm. Whereas there was certain areas of the whole empire that up to now I was struggling with components of those, and now I have a clear executable plan that I can rinse and repeat. Mm-hmm. And that not only am I improving the business of the clients that I'm working with, I'm also improving my own bottom line as a consultant.
What do you think was the most impactful part of this course? Like, you had gray area when you came walking in. Everybody does, right? I had gray area in my own business. Like, I still have to put the amazing technologies that we're designing into my own practice with my clients as well.
Yeah.
You know, so what gray area did you come in with that has been totally made clear? Well, the light shined into that
Sure. I mean, if we were looking at the process, obviously the industry solutions process and aligning those pain points with solutions is something that I guess I got caught up in the technical aspect of the business and not on the business side. And that would be my biggest takeaway, is I have to listen more to the business needs and aligning those business needs with what's actually helping the client in the web space that they want to open up a new channel into.
Okay.
And having a more holistic overview of that process has really helped me on a confident level. I feel much more secure about how I'm going into a client's building and how I'm, standing there in the boardroom and adding real value to their business, instead of just coming in there, selling them a very small channel of what I could do for their business.
So you're not going to walk in and sell like a keyword research report or something like that. You're an empire.
Yes, my SEO audit days are over.
Okay, good. I like to hear that.
Yes.
So you're moving towards more of an executive empire consultant, online presence builder,
yes.
And you're understanding the inner business, what the client's really looking for, the questions behind the questions. When you mentioned ISDNA, you're talking about some of the human thinking that goes far beyond what SEOs normally do.
And that doesn't just, I would sort of say that on an executive level, even if you're working with corporations, I still think that there is a smaller group there. There's obviously the local search clients that can still benefit from this process.
Okay.
And I think Sue has given us the tools to do that. I mean, with TLKT, we can still handle those niches.
Right.
And we can still help local businesses if we have that process fully automated.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a huge takeaway, because we can apply this to different channels and not just be going after the biggest fish in our local community.
So you feel like Domain Web Studio has given you the ability to scale?
Yes, most definitely.
So it's really up to you about how you set up your personal business and how
You've given me more options than I came in with.
Excellent.
Right.
And what's your favorite report that Domain Web Studio generates right now in this current version?
Wow, I've closed deals just on that first report, on when I've just been in the SEO, in the actual Braid report of actually just showing that in front of. I've actually just opened up that screen in front of a client and closed the deal right there.
And what was it in that screen that the client reacted to that gave you distinction from the rest of the typical SEO reports out there?
Well, obviously it was aligning their business rules with the solution that's being provided, and it was down to the keyword level. But up to that point, we were selling it like that. And then we came away from this, and we realized now we're not really selling that anymore. We're selling all of the front part of that, all of the total DNA braid of that to the client, and that was huge.
Okay, let's talk about DNA Braid, since a lot of our viewers have no idea what we're talking about.
Right.
Yeah. With every certification, there's jargon, there's specifications, there's new
terminology.
words. Yeah, and when we're driving an industry with a piece of technology that we've created, sometimes we have to fill it in. And I know you actually expressed to me that I need to be more clear on some of these names. Well, what do you mean by the DNA process? What is? Do you have a better understanding? Explain that in your own words.
Well, in layman's terms, I would say that we come in with a very narrow mindset as SEOs, and we don't really look at the holistic process of the business, and then we don't take the time to map out the business needs and their business objectives, and we don't align that to the appropriate plan. All we do is we're just, doing a keyword dump on a client and saying, well, here's the map, here's the keywords that we think best work for you, and let's just line up the pages that work with that. And now we have a lot more holistic overview that we can just map out a process, give them a set of deliverables, and then not only give them a plan to execute that, but having a long-term strategy for their business that will not only bring them money and wealth and happiness into their business, but it'll also do the same for me as a consultant.
Interesting. So when you walk,
strategy.
Right. So when you walk in there, you're not going to try putting a round peg in a square hole, which is the traditional SEO MO. It's like, here's the stuff that we found. Here's keyword. Here's the basic keyword things. But instead, you're actually taking all their KPIs, their business rules, and giving a huge overview of what's going on, and then you can customize that to their needs. And you can actually give them a future plan based on some real KPI.
And the wonderful thing about the tool set of DWS is once that information is into DWS, I can align those scenarios to the business needs. So if their business changes, their business model changes as we're going through the month-by-month process and the ebb and flow of their business, we can adjust the PR value, give them a new way of going through that process. And what I mean by PR value is one of the components that just came into DWS, which was a huge jump forward, was that we can actually look at the median average of the top 10 searchers that they're up against, and we can find out that, example, the top 10 of searching for renewable energy is this, this, and this. The median average of page rank in this is 5. So we know right away how competitive the market is, but where we're entering the market and the right execution plan for that PR value.
Was that part of the Domain Web Studio Nemesis chart and all that? Was that part?
It was a sequence of that, but we were able to see that earlier on in the process. And I think even before I got into DWS, we had a way to go in and look at that quickly, so that we could set up that map.
Okay.
And that we're giving them a really holistic roadmap, is what I would call it, of a long-term approach. And I think this is where a lot of SEOs drop the ball, is they're very short-term focused. They okay, what are you going to do for me in 3 months? What are you going to do for my business in 6 months? What are you going to do for my business in 12 months? They really don't know. They don't know enough to, now I know so much, like, let's just say it this way. I knew 20% of what I knew before I came in to the training. Now I know 90%.
Excellent. I'm really glad that you were able to get that.
Yeah, and I still have to learn the 10% on my own.
Well, we're always learning. There's not a static thing in this environment, as we talked about at dinner. Or at lunch. We're not in a static environment where anybody has absolute static snapshot of the truth.
True.
But with the tools that we're creating, we're trying to get people as least imperfect as possible.
Yeah.
So that's what we've really worked on. Another thing that would be great is, let's hear your perspective on some of the jargon that we've used, such as one feed to rule them all, one web ring to rule them all. This might be a tough one, but I'm going to ask you to put in your own language your new understanding of both of those, and we're going to start with the one web ring to rule them all. What is I'm giving you the opportunity to express back, we might cut this, we might not.
Yeah.
What is the one web ring to rule them all in 3 minutes or less?
I'll be honest with you, when I first came into it, I had no clue what the the rule mechanism meant.
One web ring.
One ring, yeah, of course. I didn't know the mechanism. I knew about RSS aggregation. I knew the concept of RSS aggregation, but I only knew about 50% of it, and in the point as I was using it as a collector, I wasn't learning the methodology of pushing that stuff out, pulling it back in, pushing it out, pulling it in, and then taking a group of feeds and funneling that down into one big feed, and then pushing that out in a repeatable process that actually made it, up to now I was struggling. I was, like, gosh, I've got to get high quality backlinks for this guy. I need a lot of good people, good link builders to manually find this stuff. And I was just like, I I was just like so relieved. I walked away and I was like, wow, I don't have to do backlinks anymore. In a different sense of the word.
At least you're not going to be wasting content and backlinks that you already have, right?
And I think that plays off a lot of what the search engines are looking for, in the sense that they're looking for highly relevant content, and they're looking for all of those core components on one page of the site. And that campaign mentality now of focusing on one page as a campaign resonated a lot more with understanding what the one feed to rule them all process really meant.
So you have a better understanding of RSS feeds, where you plug the wires in on the back of the giant domain web studio machine.
I think you had to look at it as a hose for their business. You're plugging in a hose, and we're basically turning up the pressure of that hose and redirecting that hose back into their business.
And are you excited about the RSS output that's coming from Domain Web Studio in upcoming versions, so that all your content is automatically put on a feed?
I'm super excited. The thing the big takeaway that I've had with Matt and Sue and everybody here is it's a great community, because the people, there's a small group of people in this community, but Sue is always there. I'll ping her, and obviously she's super busy, but she'll always get back to me. And she'll always get back to me with the right answer.
She's actually in the Bahamas, but she will always.
Yeah. And Matt is always surfing in Africa, but you know what? Matt will scramble in, and he will look in his Skype account, and he will see that I'm pestering and bugging him, and eventually he will get involved in the discussion, and he'll rein me back in.
Good, so you're happy with the support.
So the team and the support have been really great along that process.
All right, well, do you have any other questions for us, or you feel like you got what you came for?
Yeah, most definitely.
Excellent, thank you so much, Brian.
Appreciate it.
Also Wright and Brian McFarland from the Network Empire Certification event in Mesa, Arizona. Thank you.